Find a comfortable seated position as we start our practice today. Hands resting on the knees. You can sit on a block or a blanket if you'd like. Wherever you are, just allow your spine to be nice and lifted. The shoulders are relaxed. And as we're kind of maintaining this strength in our core and with our back, let's also think of softening. So we're strong and light, and we are soft and starting to just slow down essentially. Start breathing in and out the nose. Slowly if you can. And begin to notice the smaller details within our practice. So observing the mind. And when you're quiet with yourself, things will come up naturally. And it's part of our practice to be kind to anything that comes to our attention and to be graceful as we allow it to go away. So simply observing your headspace, your thoughts, your feelings. And while we're at it, also just noticing the body. Any points to be mindful of as we move today. When you're ready, we'll bring our hands to our heart, palms together, fingertips together. And we'll shift into a state of gratitude for our practice today, for our body, and for our patience, and for the time that we're going to share together and with ourselves. So let's place the hands back on top of the knees. Lift the heart a little bit higher. The shoulders are down and relaxed. And we'll bring the left ear down to the left shoulder. Breathe in through the nose. And as you exhale, keep the shoulders still as you bring the chin to the chest. On your next inhale, bring the left ear back to the left shoulder and the head to neutral. Switching sides, right ear down to the right shoulder. Breathe in through the nose. And exhale, chin to chest. So we're stretching that upper back and the neck. And then again, right ear, right shoulder. And bring the head to a neutral. Let's do it one more time on both sides. Lowering the left ear down to the left shoulder. Inhale, breathe into the belly. Exhale, bring the chin to the chest. Inhale, inhale, left ear, left shoulder. And back to center. Opposite side, moving with your breath. Find your right ear back to your right shoulder and then your head back to center. Let's use our hands and we'll close the knees together. And we'll start to extend the legs. So this is already a bit of a big stretch. Point and flex into the toes to just warm up the ankles. And we'll actually slide the hands behind us. Point the fingertips towards the back of the mat. Flex the toes towards the ceiling. Lift the chest, lift the chin up. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale, point into the toes, bring the chin to the chest. And one more time, flex the toes, think of lifting the kneecaps, squeezing the legs. Maybe your feet can come off the ground. Breathe in. And exhale, point into the toes, chin to chest. Start walking the fingertips forwards as much as you can. It's a big stretch for the back of the legs as you fold forward. It's going as far as feels comfortable for you right now. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, maybe you can bring the chin a little closer to the chest, being mindful of your low belly and your low stomach. Very good. Let's walk the hands back, cross the ankles, and we'll come into a tabletop. So hands underneath the shoulders, walk the knees back. We'll do only 2 rounds of cat and cow. So pressing into the tops of the toes, rotate your index finger so it's pointing forward. When you're ready, drop the belly, start to arch the back, lift the chin, breathe in through the nose. Exhale, round through the back. Cat pose. And again, moving with the breath. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Good. Open the knees as wide as your yoga mat. Bring the big toes to touch. And come into a child's pose. Bringing the heart closer to the ground. Allowing the forehead to rest. And we'll hold here for several breaths. If you'd like to stack the forearms on top of each other and give your forehead a bit of a pillow, you can do that. Always kind of exploring these poses so you find something that is both resting and active. So we can explore what it feels like to move and rest at the same time, or to be calm and also awake. Moving from a place of agenda and our to-do list and just actively listening to our body just helps create some space as we tend to go from one place to the next. Just creating space to appreciate and be grateful for where we're at right now. And learning to pause. Start to lift your elbows off of the ground, or extend your palms forward again, or your hands forward if they were stacked. Coming into a bit more of an active child's pose. And just like that cat and cow, we're going to hollow the back, so rounding the back. On your next inhale, start to lift the hips. Think of that cat pose and allow the hips to drop down into the ground, coming into a bit of an upward dog, and then lower the chest down. Curl the toes, and when you're ready, we'll start to lift the chest back up, coming into a full extension if you can with the arms, and lifting the knees off the ground. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, let's send the hips back and come into a downward facing dog. Lift one heel up and then the other. Think of pressing into both hands and into both feet. Start to feel out one leg at a time. If any pops happen, that's great. Allow both heels to rest down a little closer towards the ground. Hold here for one breath in through the nose. And exhale, hold. Start to walk the feet towards the wrist, one foot behind one hand, and come into a forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to so it feels comfortable. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows, giving the hands a bit of a break with no weight. Very good. Place the hands on the ground. Start to lengthen the legs as much as you can. So going from bent knees, just starting to straighten a little bit more. And then again, bending into the knees, bringing the chin to the chest. And again, slowly straightening the legs. Start to think of just creating space. So it doesn't have to be a complete straight leg. It can be a subtle change from bending to straightening. Only going always as far as feels good. And then one more time, we'll bend into the knees, chin to chest. Good, and we'll slowly root to rise, so come into a standing posture. Keep the chin to the chest as you slowly roll up. Coming into Tadasana, or mountain's pose. So with the hands by the sides, let's bring the feet together. Hands on the hips, and we'll just gently warm up the ankles. So let's lift one heel off of the ground. Lower and switch. Lift your left heel off the ground. Lower and switch. Lower and switch. Good, and we'll play with a little bit of balancing. So when you're ready, go ahead and bring your right knee up towards the chest. Give your right knee a big hug. And this is where we're really gonna apply our focus. So finding a spot in front of you, allow your gaze to rest on that spot and don't move. Think of your ankles being cemented into the ground so they don't wobble. Very good. And if you would like, you can come into a bit of a warrior three, just kind of extending the back foot or right foot behind you, bringing the arms to airplane, pointing into the back toe. Or you can stay in that hugging posture with the knee to the chest. Stay connected to your breath. Right now, all we're doing is exploring our balance. Take your time, work your way back into your knee to chest. Keep pointing into that right toe. Think of breathing into the belly. And slowly lower your right foot down. We'll switch sides. Left knee comes up. Give yourself a good hug. Maybe you flex the left toes first, and then you point. And again, you can hold here. You don't have to go into warrior three. But if you'd like, and if you did it to the other side, I encourage and I support you to create balance in your body by being fair. So what you do to one side, you do to the other. Hold, find your focus, find that spot. Allowing the mind and the body to create its own form of clarity and balance. And then take your time working your way back into your knee to chest, flexing, pointing, and then lower the left foot down. When you're ready, we're going to try balancing on both ankles. So with the hands, the palms facing forward in our mountains pose, the feet are going to be together and the ankles are going to stay together. So we're going to try to balance up on our tippy toes. So when you're ready, start to lift both heels off of the ground. Keep the ankles together. And notice if you're able to stay steady. Notice your breath. Keep that focus. Or maintain it, maybe is a better word. Hold here for one more inhale. And exhale, lower the heels. Let's swing the arms out to the sides, palms will touch. And exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach both hands up. Maybe you do a slight back bend, keeping the hips pressed forwards. And exhale, come into your forward fold. Bend into the knees. Let's step both feet back, coming into a bit of a plank pose. Relax the knees down. And you can come into a child's pose. So let's open up the knees as wide as the mat, point into the toes. And again, resting, allowing ourselves to take a second to observe. Maybe you bring the right ear down to the ground. Maybe you bring the left ear down. Bring the forehead to center if you were moving. Good, and let's actually stretch the side body. So left hand reaches towards the outside of the yoga mat. Right hand reaches on top of the left hand. Think of keeping your right hip into the ground. So we're opening up through that right side body. Think of breathing into your belly. And then switching sides. Right hand reaches to the outside of the mat. Left hand reaches on top. Opening up through the left. Holding as you breathe in. Exhaling to soften and notice those sensations that come when we come into these stretches. Any kind of a posture, really. Start walking the left hand back. Find your child's pose. Think of reaching the fingertips away. Very good. Come back into a cross-legged seated position, crossing the ankles. Finding your comfortable seat. Taking your time getting there. Notice your breath. Notice your heart rate. Notice how the breath and the heart rate are connected. And if you can slow down your breath, how you can slow down your heart rate, you know what I mean? And ending our practice today with mindfulness and observation. We'll bring our hands to our heart into a mudra, Anjali mudra. It's a beautiful way to rest the body, close our practice, and in a sense, stay connected to our values and just a good amount of gratitude. It's very humble. So with the palms pressing together, taking our time, we'll bring our thumbs to our forehead. We'll allow the shoulders to stay soft and our body to stay soft, and our mind and our breath to stay soft as we take our final inhale together through the nose. And exhale to soften and to let it go. To release and to end our practice.